So OpenAI dropped ChatGPT Images 2.0 a day and a half ago, and it's the first image model that actually thinks before it generates. So I actually was thinking, okay, great, like there's this new model. How can I actually bring it to the real business? So funny enough, my dad is actually starting a helmet business, and he's only gotten a few samples and he's gotten data sheets and maybe some photos from the manufacturer, but he doesn't really have a lot of budget for marketing or a designer. So I came up with four use cases of what I'm going to be using Images 2.0 for. So the first would be product shots. You don't need to hire a photographer to do these product shots. The second is infographics. So really showing people how they should be measuring their head when they're buying a helmet. The third is a pricing research. So based on his competitors, how much should he price it for? Therefore, he's going to create a pricing document for his website. And the last is actually a full website mockup, a full website UI mockup. So he doesn't need a web designer, he won't need a graphic designer or a photographer. And it's really great. Once he starts this, he's able to continue using this for his creative ads as well. For the first prompt I'm actually going to be doing is around product shots. So I kind of prompted, I gave it some product images that we got from the manufacturer and then the data sheet. And I told it, my dad is starting a business where he got samples, but he doesn't have a professional photographer to take lifestyle shots and real product shots. Can you create a cohesive series of 8 images for an outdoor children's helmet brand, all sharing the exact same visual identity, color grading, lighting style, and film aesthetic? And then I essentially described what aesthetic I want and what camera to shoot it from, the lighting, the color palette, the mood. The subjects needs to be real children between ages 5 to 12, diverse, natural posture, slightly messy hair and clothing, expressive but unposed, never looking directly at the camera unless accidental. And then the environment of where I want these pictures to be shot. And then essentially, I told it to generate 8 images in order with the same visuals: product shot, lifestyle action shot, detailed helmet, environmental shot, lifestyle portrait, trip, packaging, layout flat, the play moment shot, and end of day shot. I actually came up with a pretty, I would say pretty good, considering, we only have the helmet. Second prompt, which is to create a size guide infographic and show people how to measure their head when buying a helmet online. So I actually attached the data sheet that we got from the manufacturer. As you can tell, it's quite bare bone. It's yeah, there's really not much to it. And I told it to create a size guide. And I made sure to include all the critical product accuracies into the infographic. And then the visual style, all of this was from before. The infographic overlay of what I want the infographic to essentially have, and then what the font would look like and how I want the infographic, right? And it actually did a decent job. It looks pretty good. There are some like minor changes, but nothing crazy. But it's really cool because actually could change a lot of the aspect ratios and change it pretty easily as well. Third prompt is researching the pricing of the competitors and essentially creating a pricing comparison document afterwards. So I asked it to research kids' helmet in Canada and in the US using Amazon and well-known brands, and it would find 8 to 12 helmet examples. So pretty much ask it to find it and group it into the categories: budget ones, mid-range, and premium, and then summarize it and identify what makes helmets more expensive, and then also suggest a price. And we would essentially decide after what is the price range and what is the range we want to go for. And after that, we asked it to create a clean poster of the size, what the title would include, and what's the style, all of that. And then it created something like this, something bare bone. Didn't really like it too much, to be honest, but it gave us decent research in regards to what the pricing looks like. And I think this was a good starting point. And the recommended retail price that they told us was $59. They gave us essentially the market summary, the features and all that. I thought it was like pretty good for the first time they did it. And I was like, okay, great. Let's do it for 59 bucks. It sounds reasonable. And then I created a poster for us. Still don't like it. I was like, okay, great. Now I want it in a specific lighting and specific aesthetic. And then I want a poster in both English and Chinese. And actually, they do a pretty good job in regards to like I can read Chinese, so I can tell that like everything actually matches to what the English version says. And I think it looks pretty good. So that's essentially the pricing comparison document and also the pricing research that we asked it to do. So the last use case I'm going to be showing you is creating a realistic UI mockup for a children's helmet Shopify store. And essentially, I asked it to generate two pages. One is a home page and the second is a checkout page. And I have asked it for four different design variations of the home page. And essentially, the content will be the same, but different styles. I have included the product details, the visual style, and what the homepage would need to include, and then the checkout page, what it would include as well. And then I gave it the requirements of the size and show inside the Mac OS window. I need it to display on the iPhone style layout, vertically stacked. The variations are super important, and I essentially told it four different home style styles to play around with, and it gave this. Does it look the best? No, it's not the most beautiful thing ever, but I actually think it did the job pretty fast. I actually asked it to give me the full page of each variation, and I think it actually did decent. The only thing that I was like noticing the problem was that it should be like 59 bucks, but it actually did its job, and I can kind of pick what is best for me. Honestly, once I have kind of like nailed down the design, I would go to Claude Code to code up the website. And the other thing I want to include is the fact that this prompt is something that I prompted ChatGPT on to make a full prompt for me. So you don't need to know every detail on what to put, but you can definitely be brainstorming with ChatGPT on the prompt itself. So hopefully this is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to your feedback.